Welcome back to a new Anno 1800 series where we're covering the new mod, New Horizon. That opens a whole new region in Asia after you get to Investor. And there's also quite a few new things like a whole new tier of population in the old world called the Magnets and much more. In our last episode, we conquered Cape Trelawney and in particular Cornfall. As you can see over here, well, we have a bit of a problem here. There's an epidemic. But apart from this, we basically went from this island being empty to this island being not pretty full, but yeah, it's not bad, right? Almost 20,000 of population, and obviously all of their needs serviced from the farmers over here, right? All the way to the engineers. We're also giving a lot of lifestyle need, some that are basic, like, the wool, but some more advanced, like soccer balls over here. Or I think we are giving, yeah, also some ram, some hot sauce. There's quite a few things. Now, today, we want to continue with the engineers, right? We want to give them some electricity, if possible, maybe also spectacles and light bulbs. We also need on this side, the penny farthing and the pocket watches. There's quite a few needs that we need, but for many of those needs, either having, electricity would really help, or it may be even necessary. I don't remember which one, but yeah, this one, for example. No, this is improved. It is this one, yeah. Bicycle factory, it doesn't work if you don't have electricity. It's not even giving you a bonus, it just doesn't work, period. And it's not the only one, there's definitely some others like the clock makers. So we're gonna want electricity. This is why I have over here built a grand oil arbor. I mean, it's a normal oil arbor that has just been upgraded. You can only have one per island. These start costing pretty advanced stuff, by the way. Upgrading it is definitely going to cost you some of those windows and also reinforced concrete, so make sure that you start making some of these. But more importantly, you're going to need to connect it to an oil production. There is actually an oil production or an oil, some oil springs on Cornfall, but they're very far. They're, at the top of the island. So I decided not to use these for now. We are going to go in the new world because in the new world, there is a lot of oil. Many of the islands have tons of oil. In Cornfall, there was 5 oil fields. Here, there's already 12. On this island here, 20. This island, 13. So many of the islands have tons of oil. I started with this island over here. Where is it actually? Show you. Yeah, you can see here. So we have again another of this arbor, right? It's actually not fully upgraded. You can see the cost of some of those upgrades: 15,000 of coins, 60 of wood, 40 bricks, 30 steel beams, 15 windows, and 15 reinforced concrete. But with this, we start creating some trains. The more upgrades you do, the more trains you have. Right now we have 4, and those trains are gonna go on, these railway system, right? You don't need 2. I put 2 because that helps a bit with some of the logistics. And then you're gonna need to place 2 things. You're gonna need to place this oil refinery. For example, let's place it over here. This has a range, right? There is a range, and you can only conquer, the oil fields or oil spring that are inside that range. Then you will basically click on oil well there and put it on one of these. The more you put, of course, the more the production is gonna be high, right? If we look over here, my production is on 400%. If I had even more, it would be more than this. This is again one of these islands where I can push to 50% plus with no problem because there's no workforce at all. And yeah, basically those trains are going to, bring this oil back. When there is something like this, they can either go through or they can go around. And this is why again I've put 2, because that enables the logistic to be slightly easier. Then it goes over here, right? And it goes into the reserves. And then we're gonna send some special ships to be able to transport this oil to my other regions. And this is strange, I don't see any. I guess they are probably over here. Or maybe they were already in the new world. Oh, I think they are actually in the new world. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, here it is. So we have this ship, these oil tankers that are, ships that can transport this oil. It's actually the only ship that can transport these. You can make them or you can buy them. So far I've just been buying them. Now they're going to go over there, and I guess what I should do, so I change this word quickly, is to say wait for the goods, because right now I have 3 ships that are just after one another and probably a bit of a waste. But anyway, they take this oil and then they're going to send it back to the Cape, right? And so in the Cape, I think we have now a bit of reserves. Let's check it out. Yes, we have some reserves. In terms of making it or buying it, as I said, you can usually buy some at Archie, like this one, 300,000, but you can if you want to. Let me just buy a bit of resources while I'm here. I have tons of money, and my production of bricks and steel beams is not that high to be honest. I'm just buying from time to time, and we're gonna send. Good question. Let's send it here for now. Or you can also build, you know, this production, this oil tanker. This will require a steam shipyard now, not the basic shipyard you had before. This requires a steam one, which requires electricity. So it's a bit of a catch-22 where you may need it, or you may have to use, you know, local production. But anyway, now that we have, you know, some oil, we're gonna be able to start using those oil power plants. I'm gonna start this one and that one here, because now with 2 of these, I think we're gonna cover all of my engineers with no problem. And we're also covering over here, you can see many of those productions. So that's gonna boost those productions. That's great. Then I honestly think we're probably gonna put another one soon somewhere over here for more productions. But yeah, we can check, you know, soon we should be sending a train. Why is it not going? There is, oh, because I'm missing, sorry, my bad. Here, you need to connect it like this, and same here. Okay, so now the train should be leaving. Here it is. 200 is the maximum you can have in a train, but again, you can have multiple trains running in parallel, especially if you have multiple of those roads like I did over here. The mechanics or, you know, the logistics are a bit complex, to be honest. Sometimes it can be buggy, but for now it should be fine, especially if you only have 2. So it is. We dropped 100 over here. This is the internal storage of a building like this, and so now it started to make electricity, which you will see is given to my engineers, but is also given to many of those productions. So they're moving from, you know, they were at 150% productivity. They're gonna move to 250% now. So that is really cool. And same on this side, right? It's gonna support some of these guys. So we have now electricity over here, and as I said, we're gonna be able to also start making some of those other productions. Actually, maybe let's start with that one right away, because we already have quite a bit of glass on my island. I'll really show you in a second. We have zinc mines and copper mine. I've actually made 2 of these, so we had 15 seconds. So maybe let's just place 2 of these over here. I'm gonna continue this product like this chain where there's already electricity. So actually, am I making a mistake? Like 2 of these, that's gonna be 30, and then with electricity, that's gonna be 15. Yes, so that is 15 seconds. That's gonna produce quite a bit of brass, and then with this glass and this brass, we can make spectacles. Now this is 130. I don't actually know how many I need. I probably don't need that much, to be honest, because this is right now, yeah, just 1. So let's just start with 1 for now, but we know that we can expand that in the future, no problem. We'll need some quite advanced resource, including quite a bit of money. So hopefully by now you're making a good amount of money. But it is, we need some glass, we have a lot, we need some brass, and with this we should be making enough. Let's check it out, because we should be at 45. Yeah, not that much more. Soon we'll need more, but that's okay. So that is the first production missing that was here. The next one is the light bulbs. So they're also going to need some glass, which is why, again, let me show you quickly. That was somewhere over here. Yes, we had put a lot of these sand mines. Some of them are paused, but maybe we restart them. And I put also a lot of those glass makers. Again, maybe we need to start a few more, but we're gonna make a lot of glass, no problem. Then we need filaments. This is something new we didn't have before, that will use coal. So we do have coal, that's not a problem, but it does use something new. We're gonna put it somewhere over here. And we need to also make sure that from time to time we put some services, right? Because otherwise this whole thing is gonna explode way too quickly, probably. So let's go. That doesn't fit unless I turn this one around. Okay, so let's put that here. Because look, this is a pretty good compact thing. Okay, let's see, electricity. Yeah, this one is still on electricity, but soon we're gonna need another one. So let's build those 3. This is going to start making some filaments. To be precise, with electricity, we're gonna make 30 seconds, so 2 per minute. And then we need a light bulb, which also will be improved by electricity. Let's put 1 for now. Okay. And this one is 1 minute, so again 30 seconds. Let's check it out. Yeah, we're making enough, perfect. We can check also if we're good on Windows. We are good on Windows, filaments, brass, totally fine. There, all of those productions are looking good. So with this, we should actually be ready for investors pretty soon. We could also start moving potentially into the skyscrapers, both the engineer one and then later the investor ones. There is 2 more though. There is the penny farthing and there is a pocket watch. And by the way, those penny farthing are also required. I don't remember which one, not this one. By the workers. Now those penny farthing, this is one that I said it requires electricity. If you don't have electricity, it's not even gonna work. But it also requires a lot of caoutchouc. You may remember in the last episode, we already talked about caoutchouc for my soccer ball production, right, over here. This requires caoutchouc, and it actually requires quite a lot already. This was already something like, yeah, 17. And this is a 1 minute or, yeah, 1 minute production. So we had started to put quite a bit of caoutchouc on this part here, right? But yeah, it was asking for a lot. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use what we've just learned of this oil. We're gonna put another oil production over here. By the way, oil can explode pretty easily, so that's why I'm putting a lot of this fire station here. Right now, we're not using people, but soon probably we will. We're gonna put those oil wells. Let's go 1, 2, and 3. These ones are in range. That's probably going to get started. And then similarly over here, by the way, this is not linked to the workforce. You know, the workforce is not linked at all to how many of these oil wells you put, only the productivity. So anyway, this is going to create us quite a bit of oil already, right? And this oil is going to go there. Then there's another thing we can do with this oil. Let me just do that quickly. Okay, this is not great to have -5, so let's put a +10. I have the influence, so that's not a problem. We can also use something else, which is called the fuel station. Now, what is this fuel station going to do? This fuel station is going to transform the oil instead of electricity into fuel. And this fuel is going to fuel tractors. This is something that you can have in the New World, but also in the other regions, not just for the New World. And this is going to boost your productivity of your farms by a lot. And so what I've done is using, as always, one of the stamps I created in the past. And remember, you can find all of those stamps in... Ooh, no, I don't want to join this war. Sorry about that. So those stamps, you can find all of them in my Discord community for free. You can find the link to my Discord community in the video description below. But yeah, we've created all of those stamps, including this one, which is a trade union in the middle that is in range of all of the farms. So if we have, you know, any items to help those farms, it's gonna touch them all. And then we have the farm with actually two things, not just the barn, the tractor barn, but also the fertilizer silo. We can also do that in the future. But yeah, let's get started, create a few of them. And we also do need, I mean, I may not need any services, because hopefully we can stay under the 200. I think -25 is not a problem. Basically, the productivity is reduced a bit, but it's not too bad. So we're gonna need some warehouses, that's for sure. But hopefully we don't even need any services. If not, I'll have to place those services in the future. Okay. So anyway, like I was saying, right, we're gonna get started on some of those farms. And unfortunately for the tractor barn, to show you what this is, we're missing one resource. We're missing these steam motors. We're gonna want to create these first, right? So we're ready for this expansion. Let me just build those ones. Okay. I'm thinking I may also need to send these two over here, and I'm gonna need some wood. Look at the quantity of wood. We're really low on wood. So I'm sure we have over here, yeah, a couple of these guys. There is actually quite a bit of wood over here, so just take it, and you can go get more steel and clay or bricks. So give me a second, just do that, and same here. You can actually click once, and then this. Okay, so we send both of these now. I didn't give it a name, sorry, I forgot. Probably one of those two, but which one is the question. We can send them to oil, it's not far. So anyway, as I was saying, we're gonna need to get these steam motors. It's a pretty complex one, but it's actually things we're already doing, right? The steel out of iron and coal, the brass out of zinc and copper. I'm already doing both of these. So the only thing we need is actually the motor assembly line. It does require electricity, so we're gonna put it more around here. It feels like this is my industrial kind of sector, so I feel like this is a good kind of role play of it. So we're gonna connect all of these, by the way. It's fine. This, we may want one warehouse and maybe some services just in case. I think, yeah, we were already in reach, but still it's better to not take any risk. And we probably don't need 3. Let's start with 1. This is, yeah, 45 seconds divided by 2. That's really pretty good. I don't need a crazy amount, but as soon as we have a few, let's make sure we send them to the New World so that we can start getting, actually, let me put another one for now, just so that I get some reserves. And as soon as we have some, we can send, oh, this is out of the range of the electricity, actually, okay. And this one too, yeah, you can see this is out of range. So yeah, we don't have a choice. We're gonna have to move it somewhere else, or we need to put another electricity, one of these. We'll see. We'll see. For now, let's just put it there, because anyway, this is a bit more of a temporary thing. So it's gonna get started. The warehouse is a bit far, so let's also put one temporary warehouse here. And as I said, I think soon it will be about putting another one of these oil power plants. We can check our consumption, by the way, of oil too. Right, click over here, oil. We're consuming 24 right now. We are producing way more than this if you look right now, so all good there. So give me a second to have a bit of the steam motors, and I'll see you back in the new world. While we are waiting for the steam motors to be built, we talked that there will be a trading in the middle. So let's talk about items, because you may remember with this new mode, there is an optional mode that you can add too that revamps the items. And so I was curious to start looking at it. Now, obviously, you can find items at all of your AI traders, right? On top of the resources, you can click on items and you'll find some. You can reroll. This will cost you more and more money the more you reroll until it's restocked. And yeah, for example, I already found this tree surgeon over here. It says it affects the caoutchouc plantation by plus 12% productivity. It's really not a lot, to be honest, but it's better than nothing. And then I was very excited because I saw the arborist, which in the normal game is a really, really cool one that increase your productivity while decreasing the number of modules and also giving you some tobacco. So it's like a perfect one. Now they have revamped it so that it still gives you productivity, 15%, and it still gives you tobacco for free, right? But it increases the number of modules. And increasing the number of modules is really not a good idea, in my opinion. You want to decrease it, so we're not gonna buy it. But yeah, we can reroll maybe 1 or 2 more times and see if we find anything. On animal farms, this is actually a pretty good one in general. We don't really need it for this specific, like for caoutchouc, it's not gonna do anything, but I'm gonna buy it for the future. Then we have animal farms again. And let's do maybe 2 more. This one over here, by the way, is pretty cool because basically what it does is even if you don't have the caoutchouc fertility on this island, if you put it in your trade union, your caoutchouc plantation will work. Now you do lose some productivity, so we're not gonna go for it. And animal farms, I don't need that. This is not for me, this is for sugar, tobacco, and corn. And that's it. Okay, last one. Let's see, animal farms again, bombing weaver, no. This one increased the productivity only by 7%. But it's very cheap, so maybe you buy it until you find something better. This is a pretty cool one. They have changed it too a bit. Okay, I know I said last one, but last one now. Champagne, no. This is for the museum. Chocolate, no. Okay, I think it's fine. Let's just forget about it. We have a couple of items, so we're gonna bring them to our island as always. All right. I also want some wood, please. It is, I have delivered a lot of those steam motors, so we're gonna be able to build the tractor barns. Before we do, one thing I do want to mention is with those tractors, the number of field is going to increase, but don't worry, the bonus is worth it, let's say. But what I wanted to show you is even if you haven't built it yet, the tractor barn here, it hasn't been built, you can already build the right number of field. This is a pretty good quality of life, right? Where I was already able to build the number of field that was required. In this case, it's 216. So we have basically, built all of this quarter there and filled it. And once it was filled, then I built this road there, right? I did build also a road and the railway system over here because there's more of the oil spring over here and even all the way there, right? So this was important to have a road and some railway. But we have this now. Right now, if we look, we are making 11 of caoutchouc and we are also using 70 people, right? So now let's start building some of those tractors and see what happens. So build one tractor over here. Actually, let's build them all. So I just want to build only the tractor to show you, but they are building everything. It's fine. It's fine. They're also building basically the fertilizer silo. I don't have any fertilizer, so that's not gonna change anything. But on the rest, it is going to start changing. It will start changing though when they start receiving fuel. Before they have fuel, there is no change. But it is, we're sending, this fuel from the fuel station over here, right? Starting to send a few of these. So let's accelerate the time so that we can see some of them arrive. Hopefully this one first. Yes, it is. There's the first one that arrives. Now this has a storage only of 10, but don't worry, it takes a bit of time for 10 to be done. So we have this now working. So there's a couple of things that are happening. First of all, instead of using 70 people, we're starting to use less. Instead of 10, if you look at a normal farm like this is 10, right? This farm with the tractor is only using 5. which sort of makes sense, right? You have the tractor, so you need less people because the tractor is doing a lot of the work. You can also see it if you hover over this tractor there, where you see productivity plus 200%. So it's not like electricity where you gain 100%, it's 200%. So that is really, really good. And then on top of this, workforce needed divided by 50. That's what I just showed you. And that's not all. Every 3 cycles, you gain a free caoutchouc. So that is like super, super powerful. Now it does come at a cost, like I said, of plus 50% modules. If you don't have those plus 50% module, it's not gonna work. But basically, yeah, you can get now a production that is way, way higher, right? We're talking about basically 350% of productivity plus, and that means, you know, kind of processing time is 17 seconds instead of 1 minute. And then every 3 cycles, so 17 times 3, you gain a free caoutchouc. So my production of caoutchouc has jumped, right? It is not finished yet because many of them, they don't have, you know, the fuel yet. So let's give it a second for the fuel to arrive everywhere. And then we can check it again. And he says he's not convinced because he just basically lost his job, but I can guarantee you, you should do it. There is really no reason not to do those tractors, in particular also because, you know, this is just one fuel station is going to be enough for this whole thing, and you can put it pretty far. Look at the range, right? The range goes all the way over here. So the range is super big. The number of fuel stations that you need is really not a lot. And yeah, I think now all have it. So we move from 11 to 33 just with those tractors, right? And that also reduced my number of people. So this is a no-brainer. You know, you should do it for sure as soon as you get access, obviously, to the oil production like we have over here. We may want to upgrade this oil port, make sure we always have enough trains, but that's all good. I have also over here built a couple more of these depots so that we always have, like not always, but so that we have a good storage of caoutchouc. And yeah, I think, you know, this is, as we said, 33. If you remember, my production over here was 17. So we definitely, you know, could basically delete the caoutchouc that was over here and then instead take this caoutchouc from here, send it to Manola, and the rest we can then send it to Cornfall, because remember, we need some caoutchouc over here for my bicycles. To be precise, I think, if you look at my bicycle we need around 5, so I've built 2 to make 8, because this is a very quick one. It's 15 seconds. So yes, we basically need 8 of caoutchouc over here. So let me do this and I'll see you in a sec. It is, ladies and gents, we are now making bicycle or penny farthing, to be precise, using this steel and this caoutchouc. We've been sending caoutchouc now from the new world. I'll show it to you in a second, but this is working. And so both my engineers are very happy with that, right, over here. But also remember, my workers, they wanted that. This is 4 coins and 4 workers. So in terms of coins, it's probably not that profitable. And actually, you know, most of these lifestyle need, most of the time, they're not actually that profitable in terms of pure coins. But what they do provide you is free population, in the sense that, you know, you don't need to provide everything else to that population. So that's pretty good. And yeah, with this, we actually have quite a lot of workers, whereas we were in negative just before. You may have realized I did another one too. I did the pocket watches over here. This is actually the 2 buildings over here, because to make pocket watches, you need over here the clockmakers. This is going to use even more glass, so I have put 1 more of this building, and it is also using gold. Now gold, this is this building over here, the goldsmith. It's going to use a bit more coal, so coal is definitely the one where we're getting to the maximum. We have used most of it, and it is also using gold ore. Now gold ore you cannot get over here. You can see I don't have any mines of gold ore. You can get gold ore in other places, but the main place at this moment is going to be on the new world. Not on Manola. You can see Manola doesn't have any of these, but I do have multiple islands that have some gold. We have this one over here, for example. There was nothing before. Now I have 2 gold mines. There is one over here, and by the way, you know, each of those mines, they're different. You know, you may not have realized it, but this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So we have the gold coming out, right? Here it is, and then going back in. So this is one, and then we have a second over here. Each of these uses 100 obreros, so that's quite a lot. But remember, we have 200 of free workforce, right? So that's why I've built 2. Obviously, we're pushing it also to 50% because there's no risk over there. And so this is the first one. And then we also have the tobacco island where we used to make tobacco. We have this new road all the way over here where there is also 2 gold mines. But we're talking about the 2-minute production time. So even with those 2 islands, the reality is we're only making 2 gold ore per minute. The good thing is that this is enough. This is exactly, you know, what we need over here for even a bit more than what we need for that goldsmith. And if we look over here at that goldsmith, you will see that, right, we're making more than what we need. We need 1.5, let's say, or 1.6, and we're making 2. And then if we go lastly into the pocket watches, you will see that we're making enough. Same for the penny farthing, by the way. So that was great. That is 2 new productions. Right? To be very precise, so let me show you, is we are basically going to the first island, taking 2, going to the second island, taking more, and then delivering everything to Crownfall. I have 2 of these ships. The reality is probably 1 is enough, but it's fine. It's fine. We have also, that was the caoutchouc I showed you before, right? So it is, that's the caoutchouc production. And actually you may see 2 new ones, chocolate and mezcal. This is, you know, all of the new ones I created since I last showed you. Then what I do is I move them to the right section, right? To either Cape Intra, to Cape and New World. So for example, this one is Cape and New World. This is also Cape and New World, also Cape and New World, also Cape and New World, and also Cape and New World. So yes, we have those 2 new productions, because if we look at our engineers, while they have perfect need and perfect happiness needs, the lifestyle needs, they are still missing 2. They are getting their soap, but they are missing some chocolate and some mezcal. So that is what I've been doing just now. So if we go back to Manola again, we are going to start first on this side. We used to have my caoutchouc over here. I deleted all of these because remember now we're making tons of caoutchouc on this island, right? Tons of caoutchouc over here. This is full actually, you can see 550, making more than what we need. So that is why I deleted all of these. And I replaced them by cacao. I don't have the fertility on this island, but there is an hacienda farm for it. And remember, the hacienda farm, you don't need the fertility. So that's great. We're making over here the cacao. We were already making some sugar. I've been making just a bit more. And then we have the chocolate factory, 2 of them to be precise, that are taking this sugar and this cacao to make the chocolate. Last but not least, we have the mezcal, one of the first production that comes, you know, really from the artista, taking 3 things. Again, a bit more sugar, so I increased that sugar production. Then we have the herbs. We were already making herbs, but I had to increase that production a bit. So this is this island there. Basically, I did 2 of these, if I remember correctly, but we're definitely making enough now. Let me show you, this is 15. If I look at all of my islands, I only need 9. So all good there. And then last but not least, there is a completely new thing, the citrus. And the citrus, this is a bit like your tree, where you need to have enough space to get 100%. What they actually do is they cut all of the trees and then they replant some new ones. In this case, you know, citrus. You can see them over here, pretty beautiful. And yeah, I've boosted to 50% plus because they do take quite a bit of space, right? But with this, we're making 6 and we need 4. So all great there. Actually, this is only 2. The third one is even paused. And we have 2 of these mezcal bar. And let me show you that this is enough for the chocolate. So chocolate, we're making 4. And mezcal, we're making 4, right? If I look at all of my islands, I need only 2 of chocolate, and I need a bit more than 2 for the mezcal. So all good there. And so yes, now we have 2 new routes, 1 for the chocolate, 1 for the mezcal. I think the chocolate is already on its way or has already delivered, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it just arrived. Look at this, it just arrived. So let's check. It is. And lifestyle need, perfect. So it's increasing. 2 engineers, 19 coins. Love it. And the mezcal, you saw it, it was still in the port over here in the harbor. It's waiting. The production literally just started as I was recording. So this is what's happening over here with the mezcal. Really just lost 1 island over here from our friend, or you know, none of them are friend, but let's say Beryl. We can see that she has some monitors. These are the more advanced ship that obviously you'll need the advanced shipyard, like I said over here, to make. Maybe it is actually a good time to build one. We have the resources. We're going to place it over here in my industrial. Oh, but I won't have electricity there, and we need electricity. I think if we put it here, we should have electricity. Let's test it. Yes, perfect. So it is. We have, you know, cargo ship. This is definitely faster than the one we had before, and it's also 8 cargo slots instead of the 4 we have today. Then there is some military ones like the battle cruiser, the monitor, the flamethrower monitor. There is also in the future a flak monitor. This is for the anti-air weapon. We have the oil tanker, that's the one we've been buying. And this is a new one, the bulk freighter. The bulk freighter was created for long distance, okay? It has only 3 cargo slots, but it is faster, okay. oh, loading speed is very high and OpenSea travel is also very high. So this one, you know, it's 10 knots. This one is already 12 knots plus when it's in the open sea, meaning when it's, you know, between one region to another, it's 100%, it's 20% more efficient. So yeah, that's not bad, but it's only 3 cargo slots. It's really not that great. We can definitely start making some of these. Let's go. To be able to make some of these, right, the more battle ones, we're going to need advanced weapons. This is this one over here, which is different, obviously, from the old weapons we had there. You can see this is really the old school cannon. This is definitely the advanced cannons. These will require something completely new, the dynamite, which will require something again completely new, the salpetre. So this, maybe in the next episode we'll do this, because again, we've started to make steam motors. So this is the only thing that we are missing. We can also see that we are ready for, you know, our first investor. So we should definitely do that very soon. But I do want to do one more thing before that. One more thing is I want to start the tourist. I want to start a bit of tourist. I think we're going to put them over here. It's like, here is the main, you know, area. You arrive over here. Here, I guess it's not the most beautiful place, but yeah. You're going to arrive over here, and then you're going to go through there and go into the tourist hotels. So I'll show you that in the next episode. I hope you're still enjoying this one. Please smash like button. We're really close to Asia, so I'm excited for this. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.